Welcome back, everybody. You know where to follow me on YouTube if you'd like to see a lot more of these exciting videos. Today we're going to have a look at the MPC controller, Model Predictive Control. And we are going to start off with just the theoretical explanation, and the video after this will go and deal with the practical work itself. Now, if we think in terms of what we have gone and done up until now, what you're going to find is that just about all of the controllers have been what I would refer to as single input, single output. You've got a signal coming into the controller, and the controller is going to give an output, whether that would be a level or a temperature or a pressure or a flow or whatever else you would like to make use of. That is going to be the controller of choice. Now, with the MPC controller, we take it a step further, because this now becomes a multiple input, multiple output controller. You can go and decide how many inputs you would like to bring into the controller, and that might be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever the case would be. And in exactly the same way, you would go and decide how many outputs you would like the controller to go and generate. And again, that could be 2 or 3 or 5, whatever you'd like to go and use. So we're now looking at a multiple input, multiple output controller, one controller that's going to go and do all of that for you and make things a lot easier. Again, it is going to be a model-based system, so we have to go and put together a model of how it's all going to interact. I spend half my life in different hotels around the world doing many presentations, many different cities, many different countries. And if there's one thing that catches me out, is that every hotel room seems to have a different shower setup. The basics are the same. You've got a hot water tap and you've got a cold water tap, and you need to just get the shower up and running. And I've often thought, wouldn't it be nice if somebody were to go and put in an automatic control system where you could just walk into the whole hotel room and you could make the adjustments that you'd like to go and make. I've gone and put a little box at the bottom. Imagine if you were to walk into a hotel room and you have a box like this where you go and dial in what temperature you'd like to have the shower at, and you go and dial in what the flow rate would be. In my case, 46 degrees Celsius for the temperature and 15 liters per minute of water. And then you just go and press the start button, and it does everything else for you. It automatically opens and closes the hot and the cold water to get you to the right temperature, as well as to get you to the right flow rate. Wouldn't that be lovely? And maybe that's an idea for somebody to go and put in each and every single hotel room around the world. That would be an example of an MPC controller. So the whole idea is that you put in one controller that can take multiple inputs, and that single controller is going to give you multiple outputs, and it goes and does the job completely for you without any problems whatsoever. Here's another real world example, and one that I've actually seen in the past before. Imagine if you were to have gold bearing reef that you bring in from your gold mine itself, and you put that into the mill. Now that is a rotating mill. It's got steel balls on the inside, and as it rotates, it crushes the ore up to the point where you can have a slurry that comes out of the mill, and that goes into a discharge tank. Now we've also got a water valve, so that if the density becomes too high, we can add water to lower the density, or if the density is too low, we're not going to add any more water to it. We've also got a variable speed drive at the bottom that is going to control the level inside the discharge sump itself. So that becomes ideal for an MPC controller, which I'd like to go and add straight away. You can see that I've put in my MPC controller on the top right hand side. Now this MPC controller can have 2 inputs. I can bring in the level of the discharge sump as one input, and I can bring in the density of the product that we are flowing and pumping away from the mill as the second input. So the input, the system has now got 2 inputs to it. And in exactly the same way, the system can have 2 outputs. The very first output would go to the variable speed drive, and that would be related to the level inside the tank. So if the level in the discharge tank goes too high, I can increase the speed of the variable speed drive and take more product away. If the level goes low, I can slow the variable speed drive. In much the same way, I can take an output signal from the MPC controller and connect it up to my automatic valve that is bringing water into the discharge sump. If the density is too high, I can add in more water, and if the density is too low, I can add in less water. So that's my MPC controller. It is looking at the density and controlling the amount of water based on that. It is also looking at the level of the discharge sump, and it's going to be controlling the level inside the discharge sump. You could set it up in many other ways, but this would be the basic idea that we are going to have with an MPC controller. Now let's take it one step further and show you what the block diagram is going to look like. We now have the whole process with the MPC controller. Imagine if you could have the process sitting over there, and from that process we are measuring the level of the discharge sump, and we are measuring the density of the product that gets pumped away. We need to have set points, and that's where my two set points are going to be. So first and foremost, I'm going to have a level set point, and I'm going to have a density set point. Now, the controller itself must generate the outputs that we can go and use. So MV1 is going to be the output that we can have to our variable speed drive in order to go and control the level, and MV2 is going to be the output that is going to go to my water valve so that we can go and control the density of the product that's going to come out. And that is it. That is a simple diagram, a simple block diagram of a model predictive controller that can get used. Now, what makes it very intelligent is that this system, and it comes from the name Model Predictive Control, is that it's going to generate an output, and then it will predict a number of steps into the future, 30, 40, 50 steps into the future, what the process variable is going to do after that output has been generated. It gives you the next output, and it generates a prediction of what the process variable is going to be. So it is an extremely powerful, sophisticated method of control, again, that has been used for many years in the oil and gas industry. The next part of this recording is going to focus on an actual practical demonstration. If you are interested in model predictive control, please do have a look at the website, and you will see a number of different control webinars and websites and courses that can be presented, which will give you a lot more information. Thank you so much.